We planted over 2 million mangroves in a stretch of 5 kilometers. So if you are a frequent traveler of the Trans-Gambia Highway, if you pass by Kalaji at the bridge, you can easily view the mangroves around there. So we started with 5 communities. So along the river, you can go 5 kilometers exactly along the river, all is mangrove forest. So this is because, first, our mothers who are rice farmers, we all know that they grow their rice around the swampy areas around the rivers. Yeah. So during high tides, during high tides, water spills over to the rice fields. And that, because of the salt water, that will render the rice fields almost nothing. They wouldn't harvest, they wouldn't have a good harvest. So they cried over this, and there was no technology that we could do. So a friend of mine in Kenya introduced this system to me, and I was also watching the Pemba Zanzibar stuff. There was a documentary we also watched about how they were doing this mangrove rehabilitation thing. So the mangroves, when you plant mangroves around the river, during high tides, the water that spills over the mangroves will help to stabilize the salinity of the waters. At times, it will also serve as a barrier towards salt intrusion into the rice fields. So since we started this project, there is a vast area of once arable land that was left out. The women abandoned those lands because of the salt intrusion. But since we started the project, we've regained at least 25 hectares of land. That was one lost to salt intrusion. That is just one aspect of it. The second aspect of it, we all knew the illegal logging that is taking place. Now, all of us, they said the world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. We will all engage into constructions in one way or the other in the near future. Now, are we still going to rely on China? Some of these woods that are coming from China through Batimat and other places. Like, how is the average Gambian in the village going to afford those timbers that are imported? So if the bushes are cleared off, we need mangroves as well to help us do our roofing. Also, the fishes, the fish availability was declining as a result of the loss of mangroves. So since we started this mangrove project in 2009, even the fishermen themselves would tell us that they don't need to paddle, upriver to come out with a good catch. Wow. Because the mangroves serves as a source of food. The fish will feed from the mangrove roots. That is where they feed. And these oyster women, you go to Banjul, you pass them there. The oysters are attached to the mangrove roots. That is where they get them from, the streams. Yeah. So these are all sorts of food. One, it will help our nutritional status. Secondly, it is going to be a source of helping youths enter into entrepreneurship, because this is also a very good and lucrative business. A lot of fishermen abandoned their trade just because they needed to paddle as far as Casamas to come out with a good catch, because the vegetation in Casamas is far better than the vegetation we had in the Gambia at the time. But because of the mangrove reforestation, all these fishermen that have abandoned the fishing trade have started coming back to the fishing trade. And they are, the oyster women have also become very versatile. Some of them are picking strains from those rivers and bringing it as far as Bakau. So that is one thing. But the government still has a lot to do when it comes to that. Someone talks about education, they talks about the environment. In education, I would say that the education system that we inherited is not helping Africa. Sure. I will tell you and give you an example. We all went to school where we were told to draw the cockroach and label the parts of the cockroach. How does that impact you? When others are busy learning about entrepreneurship and technology, the African is wasting 6 hours of their time from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. learning about the parts of the cockroach. When others are learning about how to do inventions, the African is taught about how to do mental drill, 2 times 5, 2 times 10, when everybody knew that calculators will come. So why are you wasting people's time in a classroom teaching them how to cram? So the education system failed us. This is what we need to do away with.
I know, but now, officials, we have learned that there's an illegal company at the Nyambai forest. As an activist who is into environment, what was your reaction when you heard the news?
I'm saying that, to be honest with you, I was really very shocked, and I'm still very shocked. I talk green, I eat green, and this is what I do. That's what I love doing. All these things that I'm doing, I'm not doing it with the expectation of anything in return. Like planting up to 5 million trees. Wow, it's not very easy. Yeah. Standard Chartered have been engaged in tree planting. We have a lot of organizations engaged in tree planting. But we told them that the dimension need to shift. Now you are engaged in tree planting. After that year, you do 10,000 trees, you go back, nobody's monitoring. The next day, all these trees are done. The time, the resources are all done. But with the mangroves rehabilitation, you don't need to water them. You don't need to fence them. It is there naturally. So these environmental issues, when I heard about this, we were very crazy. I mean, even before this, we started engaging. At a personal level, not only at the personal level, at my organizational and institutional level. We engage Green Up Gambia and other environmental organizations. We seek audience with the National Assembly Select Committee on Environment.
Wow.
We went there, that was even before the Faraba issue. We talked about the fish meal factories in Sanyang. We talked about the Golden Lead factory. I personally went to the Golden Lead factory to see firsthand the environmental destruction that they are doing there. We engaged our National Assembly members because we saw youths who were arrested and arraigned to court just for protesting against their environment, against the things happening in their environment. Now, who do we talk to if it is not our duty bearers, who are the National Assembly members? They promised that they will take care of this issue, that over the weekend they will go. But even they didn't went over the weekend, that was on the Thursday. We visited them on the Thursday. On Monday, the Faraba incident happened. And we gave them a hint about the Faraba incident. They promised that they were going there. Because we went there, we spoke to the youths, spoke to the community, and spoke to Julake. And we knew exactly what the problem was. So the environmental issues in this country is a ticking time bomb. Let me tell you about that. Because Gambia, now let me give a practical example. They said the Gambia is 11,000 kilometers square. That's the landmass of this country. Look, remove the inhabited land out of that. Remove the farmlands out of that. And remove the land that is covered by water out of that. And see how much forest do we have in this country. So you will know that if the government want to control this, is very simple. These chainsaw machines that are brought in this country are imported. The government will say, okay, fine, we don't import chainsaw machines in this country anymore. A chainsaw machine can do 100 trees in one day. Now, why do we import them when we know that we don't have the resources, we don't have the capacity? This is not Nyokolokoba, this is not Kenya, where we have 100 kilometers forest. So the government is failing us, that is the reality. Our duty bearers are failing us. Look at Combo South, that is where we have the majority leader of the National Assembly. He's from Combo South. Now, these are the people that are there. Their people are suffering here. Their kids and own sons and daughters and brothers have been dragged to jail just because someone wants to protect the interests of the Chinese. That is because the Chinese succeeded very well in corrupting every fabric of our society. Because I read the other time on the newspapers, on the social media, a friend of mine, Ahmed Manjang, told me, you know about what is happening in Gunjur? I said, no. He said, the Chinese, guess what? They gave us some bulls for our gammo. Now, imagine, your kids are fighting these Chinese. You are seen dining with the Chinese. Now, the Chinese are looking at us as what? These are just empty youths. They are just a lip service youth. They will just be howling. At the end of the day, we'll just call the IGP. He will get them arrested. And they will be charged for court. They will be charged and dragged to court. And this is what is happening. We still have youths that are going to court. So the environmental issues in this country has a lot to do with our government. Our government is not serious about the environmental issues. We met the Minister of Environment, Diba, when we protested against the bulldozing of the monkey park. I was at the forefront of that protest. But when we went there, look at the monkey park. This was gazetted by the former regime, President Jawara. We have the monkeys there. Now the monkeys are going to bars and restaurants in Senegambia just because their niche, their habitat is cleared off.
But so by the way, do we have any animal rights activists in Gambia?
We do have them because that's what we did. We called all those activists, animal rights activists, environmental activists, we converged there. Diba came and Diba was so shocked.
The minister?
The minister. So he wrote to the office of the president, and as a result of that, the office of the president had to write back to us to say that they are going to hold the bulldozing of the monkey park. Thank God now the bulldozing of the monkey park is done, and there is still area that the monkey park is left with. But that is just one thing. That is just the monkey park. Now, what is happening in Sanyang? What is happening in Gunjur? Our sand dunes are all gone. They are vanishing away. Our water resources are all vanishing away. Our woodlots, our forests are vanishing away. What are we inheriting? What is the future generation inheriting in this country?
Actually, it is unfinished. By the way, the viewers, if you want to make a contribution or suggestion, you can kindly please call in 7635463, 7635463. Okay, by the way, I think you are doing a very great job. If you have 5 of Incas who are into environmental issues, I think by 2025 the Gambia will go green. But however, Gambia are going to green will not be possible unless the authorities understand the significance and importance of environmental issues. By the way, Tony,
sorry, just a minute.
If I may come to you, there was a time when young people of Gunjur who are protesting against the environment, which is being bastardized by the Chinese. Unfortunately, they were arrested and arraigned before the court. What do you have to say about that issue?
I think let me congratulate the comrade here. He's doing a wonderful job.
Indeed,
and this is what is expected of African youth at this moment to contribute towards the development of the continent. And you not wanting to, Sedina, that what the Chinese are doing here is not new.
Really?
What the Chinese are doing has been what the British have done to us. At any point in time, you have it's always the masses against the few who are in the pockets of the Chinese or the British before. That when the British plunder our resources, not that governments do not complain at the time. History told us that governments stood against it. Government lost their life against seeing their resources being plundered by the West. They fought against it. But those in authority are always the ones in problem. Now, you see government youth now rising up to stand against